Was there ever any talk of you having a singles run, whether it be United States TV title or even world title? Because given how long you were with the company and your proven pedigree, and then obviously your character, especially what you developed during the NWO, it really surprises me that you weren't at least booked as TV or US champion at that time.
When I look back on that, Ben, I what I do is I say, okay, 10 years. Okay, out of 10 years, you were a world tag team champion 5 times. So easy, just some real simple math. Every other year, I'm a champion.
Yep.
But I still believe there could have been an easy, U.S. championship type run. And I think I was in a short one with Dallas. I think me and Dallas did a short run, but there was never any big talk for me to have that U.S. belt or the world belt. There was never a discussion with the world belt, and I'm not sure I wanted that discussion, but I think it would have been good for me to be in the running as Buff Bagwell for sure.
I do, because I mean, this character, I mean, it's still, we're coming on 25 years really since kind of the zenith of WCW, and the fact that we're still talking about the Buff Bagwell character today,
Right.
you've still got brilliant merchandise behind you there. Like, it's an iconic character, and wrestling is built off iconic characters, brilliant catchphrases, great music. Everyone knew Buff Bagwell, and
Yes.
I mean, partly that's why it's surprising that it didn't parlay into the WWE, because you had such a ready-made instant gimmick. But I suspect it's a sign of the times. You see it now. You see in more recent years how, like, Cody Rhodes and Jade Cargill, for example, have been able to bring their entire package from one promotion to another,
Right.
everything in, like, seamlessly from AEW to WWE, and the entire
Right.
thing remains unchanged. But back in that day, the idea of anyone coming from WCW and daring to bring a character that they got over from that promotion and get it over into the other promotion. I mean, we saw it with obviously your friend Dallas and what they did to him during that time. Even Goldberg, and that first run was terrible because the company couldn't bring itself to take the intellectual property from the company it had just bought and acquired and run it on their own show for whatever reason. Ego. I'm always curious. Like, did you have a?
Oh man.
Did you have I know you told me that you had some talks with Vince McMahon in the late 90s. Did you have any relationship with Vince, like, before?
I would get
but Booker T.
That is such a great question, Ben. It's the answer is, if I had to guess, I'm telling you, and that Vince McMahon called me ear to ear with phone calls a few times only, but it was to come up and meet him and do. Back then the dance was, he flew you and your wife first class, you landed to a limousine, you limousine to his house for a dinner, you limousine back, you flew home. That was the courting part of the business on how Vince worked. So I think if Vince would go on, it's so beneath Vince. It really is. But if Vince was to, let's say me and Vince tomorrow became best friends, I think Vince would tell a story that he was very interested in Mark Bagwell as Buff and bringing him in. And because even when he found out that I had a regular contract and he couldn't touch me, he said, "We're not going to do business. We're not doing business now." He goes, "But we're going to be doing business." That was Vince McMahon's voice talking to me ear to ear, and it was special, But so was Eric Bischoff to me. I signed a 3-year deal before my neck surgery. I had $1.1 million guaranteed to me before I had neck surgery. Eric Bischoff was a special person to me. So, it ain't like I was going to screw Eric to go to Vince. I'm glad that I couldn't. It was just not even in the cards for me because of the contract I signed. It was no clauses where I didn't ask for any special clause because Eric had been so good to me. So when it came time for Vince to check, he's like, "Man, you signed a regular contract." I said, "No, I signed a regular contract with 1.1 million, first class ticketing, rental cars and hotels. That's not a regular contract. I said I signed a very expensive regular contract. I didn't want to ask for too much because Eric had done me such a favor, and by trusting that I could still be a part of the company. But I really believe that Vince would have a story of something that I don't know what I did, but maybe he would clarify what it was, because on paper, here's a man that flew me to his home. Now, we didn't go to his home, and that's where I think the story would start. Like, I think he got news that he was buying the WCW, and he didn't have to meet with me. He was going to own me in a certain amount of time. He was going to own me pretty quick. So why meet with me? So Shane met with me at a hotel where we flew, me and my wife and Shane, at a hotel, like a nice VIP room, and hand shook, and, you know, how you doing? Nice to meet you, and looking forward to doing business together when we can. And then I handed him my contract for him to look at it. And then when I came home, I already knew roughly what they were going to say because I knew the contract I signed. And then Vince McMahon called me and said, man, we can't touch you yet, but we're going to, all that. But something had to happen. Keeping in mind, it all started with 5 names, and I was one of the 5 on the original Monday Night Nitro, Monday Night Raw broadcast. Buff Bagwell was in the top 5.
Yeah.
Every top talent that knew Vince McMahon came to me and said, that's huge, Mark. That's gigantic. I go, what do you mean? They go, Vince doesn't do that. He just don't. He does not say your name on national TV, and if he don't have a plan for you. Yeah. And of course, I didn't take that like, dun, 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 dun. I took that like, oh, please, God. Oh, please, please, please. Thank you, please. But you take that situation of me and the talks with Sting, Hogan, Goldberg, and Buff, along with flying me up, along with not even paying for my rehab, because he's so mad at me that I had to pay for my own rehab. A lot of people don't even know that story. No. But Dallas went to the WWE to pay for my rehab 3 years ago, and they said no. They said no. So no. Here I am raising my hand. I did something wrong. I just don't know what. I don't know what it was, but I think Vince would have a story of, you know, I did the talk, the 5 guys that night, the original night, and yeah, I did fly Bagwell up, but I think he'd have a story of something I did, and I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure if it was the shame helms. I mean, a wrestler hits another wrestler? When does that get a wrestler fired? That's never happened before. Ooh, you mean a fight in the locker room? Oh my God. You know, that's who cares? Yeah. So there's more to the story. I just don't know it. And man, I would give anything to know it.